Hello, and welcome to the Well-Read Monocle. I'm your guide through the labyrinth of literature, and today we are stepping back into the brutal geometric world of James Islington's The Hierarchy. We are discussing The Strength of the Few, the massive sequel to The Will of the Many. If you recall the mind-bending cliffhanger of the first book, you know our protagonist, Vis Telemus, stepped through a gate and, well, things got complicated. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the entire book, from the three fractured worlds to the heart-stopping conclusion. So, pour yourself a cup of tea, polish your monocle, and let's dive into the story. Be warned, full spoilers lie ahead. To understand this book, we must first address the premise, which is distinct from anything else in the genre. At the end of the previous installment, Vis passed through a gate. In The Strength of the Few, we learn that this ancient device didn't just transport him, it replicated him. Vis is now living three simultaneous lives across three separate worlds. First, there is Res, the physical world we know, where Vis is still the adopted son of the Telemus family, dealing with the dangerous politics of the Catalan Republic. Second, there is Obitium, a desolate wasteland of death, where a version of Vis wakes up alongside Ulciscor's long-lost brother, Caeror. And third, there is Luceum, a mysterious spiritual world where a version of Vis washes up on the shores of a Celtic-inspired tribal land, broken and amnesiac. The brilliance of this novel is how it weaves these three threads together. So, for the sake of clarity, we shall follow each thread to see how they intertwine. The world of Res. Let us begin in Res, the world of the hierarchy. Here, Vis, known publicly as the hero Catenicus, is in a dire state. He has lost his left arm, severed during the events at the labyrinth. He is in constant pain, struggling to adapt to his new physical limitations while navigating a city on the brink of civil war. The political situation in Catan is collapsing. The factions of governance, military, and religion are at each other's throats. Vis, now working for the governance pyramid, is trying to uncover the truth behind the Anguis, the rebel group responsible for the death of his best friend, Calidus. This thread is a tragedy of politics and betrayal. Vis discovers that the Anguis are not just outside rebels, they are being aided by high-ranking senators within the hierarchy itself. He plays a dangerous game, leaking information and spying, all while trying to hide the fact that he is physically compromised. The emotional peak of this storyline comes with a devastating loss. Lanistia, Vis's mentor, and perhaps the only person who truly cared for him without an agenda, is revealed to have been compromised. In a heartbreaking confrontation at the Aurora Columnae, a brainwashed Lanistia attacks Vis. To save him, Ulciscor, Vis's adoptive father, is forced to intervene. Lanistia is killed. It is a moment that severs Vis's last emotional tether to the hierarchy. Realizing he can no longer trust the Senate, Vis fakes his own death. He teams up with his loyal friend Aydin, and together they go underground. Their goal? To find the true leader of the Anguis and end the conflict once and for all. The world of Obitium. While Catan burns in Res, let us look at the second thread, Obitium. Here, Vis is physically whole, but trapped in a red-lit nightmare. He is with Caeror, the man everyone thought was dead. Caeror explains that this world is the domain of the Concurrence, an ancient enemy of humanity. In Obitium, the rules of will are twisted. Will here is used to animate the dead, creating beings known as Iuncti. The ruler of this world is a godlike figure named Ka, who resides in a massive black pyramid in the city of Duat. Vis and Caeror hatch a desperate plan. They must infiltrate Duat and kill Ka to stop a coming cataclysm. This thread is a tense espionage thriller. Vis has to learn how to use instruction blades, obsidian daggers that allow him to control the undead. He discovers that he has a rare ability called synchronism, meaning his actions in one world can bleed through to the others. They infiltrate the city, disguising themselves among the dead. Viz learns to control the Unctii not just with blades, but with his mind, tapping into their fears and memories. It is dark, morally grey work, and it hardens Viz in ways the Academy never did. The world of Luceum. Finally, we have Luceum. This world stands in stark contrast to the others. Here, Viz is found by a druid named Cian and taken to a land of clans and kings, known as Tyroed Reed. He is given the name Deaglan. In this thread, the story becomes a classic hero's journey. Viz heals from his amputation in a farm hut, befriending a local family. He eventually travels to the stronghold of King Ronan, where he trains as a warrior. The magic here is different again. It is not about stealing will, but bonding with it. Viz learns the way of the Nation, warriors who form a spiritual bond with their weapons. He discovers that he can fight even with one arm by sensing the weapon as an extension of his own soul. This thread offers a glimpse of what Viz could have been if he weren't shackled by the hierarchy. A warrior fighting for honor rather than greed. He rises through the ranks, earns the respect of the king, and prepares for a war against a rival faction led by a chieftain named Ruach. The Convergence. As the book races toward its climax, these three lives begin to bleed into one another. The skills Viz learns in Luceum, the weapon bonding, allow Viz in Res to fight with a prosthetic metal arm. The mental fortitude he gains in Obitium helps him resist the psychic pressures of the hierarchy. In the final act, the stakes skyrocket. In Obitium, Viz and Cairo reach the heart of the Black Pyramid. They discover that the Concurrence is not a person, but a system, a lattice of millions of undead minds working in unison. In Luceum, Viz realizes that the Druids are aware of the other worlds. He is sent on a mission to a mysterious temple, where he finds an Aurora columnae hidden within this primitive land. He realizes that Luceum is not just a parallel world, it is a failsafe. And in Res, the most shocking revelation awaits. Viz and Aydin track the leader of the Anguis to a hidden necropolis beneath the mountains. They enter a massive chamber filled with thousands of preserved corpses, the accumulated dead of the hierarchy's conquests. Viz confronts the leader of the Anguis, expecting a monster. Instead, he finds a Iunctus, a dead man, kept alive by will. The leader steps out of the shadows. It is not a stranger. It is Viz's father, King Cristobal of Sus. The man Viz has mourned for years. The reveal is earth-shattering. Viz's father explains that he was resurrected by the hierarchy for interrogation but escaped. He reveals the terrible truth behind the Cataclysms. They are not random disasters. They are a cull. The hierarchy, the Angui, and the Concurrence are all fighting a war for survival. The system of the Concurrence is trying to prevent the collapse of reality by pruning the population. Viz's father is leading the Anguis not just to destroy the hierarchy, but to break this cycle of destruction. The book ends with Viz standing in the necropolis of Res. His father tells him that to save the worlds, they cannot just fight a political war. They must wake the dead. Viz is tasked with using his synchronous power to wake the tens of thousands of sleepers in the necropolis, creating an army that can challenge the hierarchy and the Concurrence alike. The Strength of the Few is a story about the cost of survival. It asks us whether it is better to be a slave in a stable world or a free man in a dying one. It strips Viz of his arm, his mentor, and his anonymity, only to give him back his father and a terrifying new purpose. James Islington has expanded his universe from a Roman-inspired dystopia into a multiverse of Eldritch horror and Celtic myth, leaving us perfectly poised for the final book in the trilogy. And that is the story of The Strength of the Few. If you enjoyed this summary, do please leave a like and subscribe to the Well-Read Monocle for more literary journeys. Until next time, keep reading.